Okay, hello guys, and welcome to the fifth game of the Medieval Wars 2013. And this is going to be our 2v2 on Arabia. We've currently got TyRanT versus CKF in the semi-finals, and it is literally all to play for. There is a lot of money on the line here, and these players really are gonna give it their best. I'm spectating Jordan 23 at the moment. He's chose Goths as his civilization, and CKF have chosen Mayans as theirs, which just means that we have a Goth plus Mayan mirror. And I was expecting the Mayans, but I was not expecting the Goths. So Jordan 23 in red as Goths up to the north of the map. His teammate, the Viper in yellow, over to the far east of the map. And of course, we do have as well Jeffrey and Paladin. Paladin taking Goths, Jeffrey taking Mayans. And I'm going to be really excited to see how this game goes. And, personally, I don't watch Goths that often on Arabia. And it's actually nice to see that he's chosen to play as Goths rather than choosing a typical Huns or Aztecs. And we could see some interesting aggression. Now, this is interesting here. Jeffrey, as we can see, with his Eagle Warrior, already over at Jordan's base looking to steal a boar, and if he gets this, it's obviously going to be a bit of a problem for Jordan. We can see his two boar already, one here, and Jordan, I think here, going to try and lead Jeffrey away, stop Jeffrey from stealing. It looks like he's going to achieve just that. Probably going to send a villager in just a moment after the next villager. After this one, probably then going to go take that boar, and ideally he wants to make sure he takes it before Jeffrey steals it. Of course, the Aztecs, with their Eagle Warrior, as in the words of Feage, it's not a scout, it's a boar stealer. Very, very common to see boar steals from Aztec Mayan players. Jordan's actually going to take this one right here. So we'll keep an eye on this, see if Jeffrey finds it, and whether or not he's actually going to steal it or not. Of course, the only downside of sending your scout straight to your opponent's base is that you may not find your sheep, you may not find all that much of your initial starting resources, and that could slow you down if you don't manage to pull the boar steal off. Now, obviously, Viper here going to be playing as Mayans, and I'm not surprised that he's decided to go with the Mayans here. He's certainly a very good Mayan player, and I would not be surprised if the Viper has an excellent game here. He's been on good form recently, and obviously Mayans being, I believe, one of his favourite civilizations. If not his favourite, he is certainly very formidable at playing as Mayans. So a good choice for him to take the Mayans there, and obviously Jordan on the Goths. So Jordan going to take that second boar, and as you can see, it is a little early. He is going to bring it in. Actually, no, it might not be too bad. Now, usually he'll want to try and aim to get his boar in as this one's running out. And he's actually going to get that in a reasonable amount of time. This boar is going to be taken mostly by the time it gets here. Probably taking this slightly earlier, as obviously he doesn't want to end up losing it by mistake to Jeffrey. And now, of course, going to scout Jeffrey's base out. Now, what can we expect from Jeffrey? Of course, we know that it's Jeffrey versus Jordan here, which is going to be Goths versus Aztecs. Now, we can expect that the Aztec player is going to drush. I think that's pretty much expected in this game. Aztecs obviously having that free loom allows them to get extra militia out. A 5, maybe even 6 militia drush is certainly possible, and Jordan of course going to want to make sure he scouts out that barracks. One thing that we can see here though is, oh, is he going to stop? No. Yeah, he's going to try it. He was going to try there and lame Jeffrey's boar. I don't think he's going to be so successful. Very close to the TC here, I think. But yeah, he saw that and thought, hang on a minute, I could try and stop this boar, delay it, or block it. But not reacting fast enough to manage to do that. But as we see, Jeffrey's gold on the front here, which is not actually a great position for him, I don't think. Obviously, gold on the front is never so nice. Jordan's gold is also on the front. But yeah, as I was saying a second ago, we kind of can expect that Jeffrey is going to make a drush. And for that reason, we could expect it from Jordan as well. As you can see, he's already sent a villager over here. And he is going to build a barracks, probably right here. Oh no, never mind, he's going to put it right here. And yeah, he's going to get that up. So he's going to go for some militia. Whether or not he makes the barracks and then actually, he doesn't make any militia, we'll have to wait and see. but he's at least got it there just to be on the safe side. Now, this is kind of weird. Not sure what's happening there. Jeffrey's kind of tried to wall it off a bit, but he hasn't completed the house, and he's left a hole. So, of course, Jordan's going to know about that if that comes to it later on. And now Jordan, of course, going to try and scout out that barracks. Now, we can assume pretty safely that Jeffrey is making militia right now due to his score. Now, it was likely that he put that barracks down about 6 minutes 30, and Jordan's barracks came in slightly later, but we can very much expect that he has made a drush. Although saying that, his score did just dip, so he could be up. We'll have to wait and see. But I can't imagine that he wouldn't drush in this situation. Still waiting to see if Jordan can scout his barracks. So far, not having any luck. But it could still be the case that the drush could come in any moment now. Taking some deer at the back here, and of course that is a great decision as he will need that food to get up to Feudal with making the militia, of course. And it will be 3 militia from Jordan 23. So with his scout involved, he will be able to, well, try and hit and run Jeffrey a little bit, try and do some damage. Now the Viper, I'm pretty sure the Viper here is going to be drushing as well. You can see by his score already that he may have picked a villager from Paladin. He's got quite a good score right there. And I imagine he will have gone for a 5 militia drush with that score. Now what was that there? No, nothing, but there is a wolf. So Jordan, of course, going to want to make sure he doesn't take too much damage from wild animals before he even makes it over to Jeffrey's base. But so far, not actually seeing any militia from Jeffrey at all yet. We can see his eagle in here, and he did actually go up. So he did go up to Feudal, and that's interesting. So he's going to go with archers. That's a very logical decision. Of course, archers will be able to kill militia fairly quickly, and doing a very nice quick wall right there to prevent those militia getting in, and he will get that archery range up in time. Now I think here Jeffrey, with those archers, should, in theory, be able to clear up these militia fairly easily, but he has only got 2 villagers on gold here, which is not enough to make archers from 2 archery ranges. There's the archery range going up, going to try and skirt his villagers out of the way, back to his TC, and Jordan going to try and do what damage he can, but certainly not going to be able to pick off a villager just yet. Now, of course, this gold could be a problem for Jeffrey. He's going to be locked quite, well, very much inside of his base right here with these militia and this scout. And, of course, he has walled himself in there. But with only 3 villagers, that's enough to, well, make archers from 1 archery range. I'm going to be interested to see what else Jeffrey's actually up to. He has got a very nice score. So I believe now he will be making those archers, of course. Just waiting to see how it goes. Back at home, Jordan is fairly walled up. He's walling across the front right here. And of course, he will want to make sure that he is walled enough so that Jeffrey cannot do damage to his villagers. But he is up to Feudal now. And he's going to try and deal with these archers from Jeffrey. Jeffrey trying to pick and hit and run at the militia. And really, Jordan's militia here not being very effective at all. I was going to say he may try and get that scout right there, the Eagle Warrior. But with 4 archers chasing him down, he isn't going to be able to do anything with these militia at all. And really, it's almost like wasted resources. Now, right now, he cannot go for a fast castle. He's obviously got Jeffrey making archers right here, and he's probably not fully walled on this side either. So archery range is going up, and Jordan will make some skirmishes to defend. Now, of course, his gold on the front here is exactly why he's built his wall so far forward. And he's going to start taking some gold in order to deal with the archers. In order to make archers of his own. So there we go. His militias all down, and Jeffrey took no losses at all. His economy wasn't really delayed at all either. And Jeffrey now is in a pretty good position to start to move in. Of course, Jordan is going to be making skirms, which is the obviously logical decision once again, as they are effective against archers. And I'm going to be interested to see what Jordan decides to do here. Of course, the strength of the Goths is in their infantry, but in order to counter archers, they really do need their Hussars, and they don't really want to be making anything along the champion line at this moment in time. Maybe later on, when the Aztec player decides to, the Mayan player may decide to switch to Elite Eagles. Right now, though, Jordan able to clear this up very easily indeed, and Jeffrey didn't actually even move back. He just ran straight into those skirms right there, and of course, that was a little bit of a victory for Jordan. Maybe able to go and send his counter-attack straight away. Skirmishes, of course, not the best at killing villagers with only 2 attack, but if he does get fletching, which he will inevitably do, then they are a little bit better at picking off villagers, but going straight across the map now with a counter-attack. As I was saying, though, the Goths against the Mayans, well, we expect the Mayans are either going to go with Plumed Archers or Elite Eagles. Of course, if he goes for Plumed Archers, then it's possible for the Goths to make Huskarls to try and counter that. And of course, if he goes Eagles, it's possible for the Goths to go with Champions. Jeffrey then trying to wall up very quickly, but it looks like Jordan's going to get around, and I can't see how Jeffrey's going to wall this up in time. And Jordan should walk straight in right now with skirmishers. +1 attack is done, and he has got a gaping hole in his wall. This villager very, very left out on her own on the left, and Viper with a very fast castle age right here. He's literally just gone up right now at 17 minutes 30 seconds. And Viper, obviously having a pretty good game over that side. We're going to expect some... Oh, wait, hang on. Yeah. No, I'm a little confused for a minute there. We don't expect that Viper then maybe making some Plumed Archers right now. Jordan managing to pick off villagers very easily indeed. And even murdering a deer out of cold blood right there. I think he's going to try and prevent Jeffrey from walling up, but here he may catch a couple of villagers off guard once again. Jeffrey pulling villagers over to try and attack, and of course I think with that amount of villagers he will be able to do some damage to the skirmishers, but inevitably Jordan going to pick up quite a few kills here. Jeffrey going to lose another villager, so close, 1 health left. And now Jordan bringing in archers, going to make this job slightly more easy for himself, and Jeffrey going to try and continue to get this wall up. Bear in mind as well, all these villagers going to be idle. And yes, they're not dying, but they are idle. And that is a big deal. Jeffrey being whistled down right now as Jordan keeps flooding this gap, making sure, of course, that he keeps it open as Jeffrey continues to make some archers right now. He also has +1 done. But Jordan is certainly in a good position right here. And once he gets a few more archers over this side, his skirmishers are going to be, well, skirmishers and archers, of course, going to come out on top over here. +1 defense done for Jordan as well. Of course, when dealing with skirmishers, that is definitely a good choice to make, and focusing down these archers straight away. He does not care for your villagers, Jeffrey. He is going to kill your archers, and another villager with yet 1 HP. This is looking really nice for Jordan over here, but back at home, he's got a few man-at-arms to contend with. Paladin obviously upgrading to man-at-arms right here. Jeffrey with some archers in as well, trying to whittle down this market. But Jordan doing so much damage to Jeffrey here. His economy obviously suffering massively due to these villagers just not working. And how many villagers is he pulling away? That's half of his economy right there. This is madness. Of course, this will get cleared up, but Jordan disrupting Jeffrey's economy massively as Jeffrey is so close to completing that wall right now. There we go, his wall is going to be finished off and he will eventually clear this up. But back at home, this market under pressure. Paladin about to break in, and Paladin 2 now up to the castle age. And of course now, Jordan, he's got 2 options. He walls up even more, which he's not going to be able to do as this market's going to go down. Or he makes more archers back at home to defend, which he's also not doing. So what is he going to do right here, as these men-at-arms are likely then to walk straight into his base? Paladin with crossbow back here as well, but Viper actually coming to his rescue, and that obviously means that Jordan has to spend no more resources and he can click up to castle right now. So Paladin then in the back of Jordan's base, going to try and do what he can, but we can see the arrow fire from the Viper right now, making crossbows +2 attack already done, and he is going to help to save Jordan's base right here. We can see dead bodies falling right now as Paladin gets cleared up, but Paladin and Jeffrey are ahead in the scores, not by much, but they are ahead nevertheless. And now Viper, of course, should be able to clear this up at the expense of 1 lost villager for Jordan. But what a big mess over here. That was something. Jeffrey pulling so many villagers from his economy right there, and that of course will slow him down, and I would not be surprised if Jeffrey is last up to castle. He obviously continued to make archers through the duration of that, and that, of course, is going to slow things down. So Viper then with a pretty nice score right now, 2,600. Of course, we have no idea what he's actually up to, but I can imagine he will be saving up for that castle. Of course, we can see he's making crossbows already, and going to try and keep the pressure on Paladin here. So castle age upgrade on the way for Jordan 23. And once he's up, what can we expect? Well, it could be possible for him to make crossbows, but it looks like he's going to go with knights here, actually. A stable going down, and knights are certainly not a bad idea at all. Oh, wow, Jeffrey getting in, and of course Jordan leaving a gap there. That could be a couple of dead villagers for Jordan 23, but walling that up so Jeffrey can't get back in, and castle age research is complete, and of course Jeffrey there not able to reach castle just yet. Jordan going to build this stable quickly because he will want to make some knights. Of course, you've got to remember, Goths do get fully upgraded knights in the castle age. And so once this stable goes up, he will be able to get knights, he will be able to upgrade +2 defense, and he's going to try then and deal with whatever Jeffrey decides to throw at him next. Knights starting to be made. Second TC going to go up on this gold, and another at the front right here on the wood. So Jordan not sacrificing any economy here to make extra army. And I think he's likely then to try and kind of wait it out a little until he gets into the Imperial age, where he can really take advantage of his Goth bonuses and potentially spam a lot of infantry there. TC going to go up. Now, it looks like Jeffrey's going to get trapped underneath the town centre fire if he garrisons. If not, he will get taken out by the knights anyway, and Jeffrey unable to pick any villagers there at all, I don't think. I think I had one villager die at the very beginning of that raid, but other than that, not really so much in the way of losses for Jordan. And he's going to send a couple of knights now over to Jeffrey's base. He has got +1 defense researched. And there we go. He's going to get himself out. He trapped himself in. That's the downside of walling so effectively, I guess. So yeah, a couple of knights out for him. No +2 defense just yet, but I don't think that's really necessary. And a scout cavalry for Jordan. I don't know if that is a misclick at all, but he's going to make a scout cavalry there as well. As, oh, Paladin in the back here. Paladin consistently trying to raid this area. And I think if Jordan completed his wall here, he would have no issues at all. But losing 2 villagers there, rather unnecessarily. But at least they know Paladin's whereabouts, and Viper's going to go and help to clear that up right now. Whether or not he does so, well, we don't really know. We can just assume... cartography. No, not cartography. Thought it was cartography. He just got his line of sight upgrade at the town centre, so we can see a little more of what is going on. But no cartography just yet, as of course he doesn't actually have a market. Monks coming out, and he's either going to use that to collect relics, which I don't actually see, and he didn't make a mistake there. He did actually intend to make a scout cavalry by looks of things to do scouting with. Would you believe it? Going to scout with that and try and, I think, look out for those relics then by the looks of things. I can't imagine why he would be really needing the monk for defensive purposes. You can see already that both Paladin and Jeffrey are going for crossbows. But sending these 2 knights over right now. Couple more crossbows from Jeffrey here, and you know, Jordan's situation with his wood is not the best. He could put a lumber camp back here or back here, but of course where his lumber camps are, they are quite easily harassable, and right now he actually has very little lumber coming in. See what he can do back here though. A couple of villagers dying, and Paladin obviously is quite slow to respond. He only has 1 crossbow to defend here, and of course Jordan gonna get a couple of villager picks, which is always worthwhile. Is he gonna try and snipe? No, he's not. He's gonna try and run by right now with still only +1 defense, but that's kind of expected. He doesn't actually have so much military at the moment. Literally just 2 skirmishes remaining, and he's playing very turtly. So maybe he was making monks to defend, but even so, making monks to defend against crossbows is not such a good idea, and there are a large amount of crossbows from Jeffrey right there. So Jordan with 4 TCs, a siege workshop going to go up, so he will be able to produce some mangonels, and of course he did complete this wall with houses right here. So Jeffrey trying to find a way in. I think if he does find a way in, he's not going to be able to pick all that much, to be honest with you. But right now, Jordan really has very little wood coming in. 14 lumberjacks, which is actually more than I thought at first. I can't actually see where he is taking wood. He's got none. He's got a few here, and one at the back, but that's about it. Lots of food, lots of gold, and it looks like he'll reach Imperial in a reasonably good time. And there we go, going to take wood at the back there. Much more sensible decision, as it's obviously going to be a lot harder to harass that. And at the moment, we still have no idea what the Viper's up to, but his score is certainly getting ahead with 4,500, which is a good 900 ahead of Jeffrey and Paladin at this stage. Well, pretty much. And now Jordan just going to boom. Of course, in this map, just pure boom while walled up is not so risky as it was for Viper in Land of Lakes on that first game. Of course, we saw how badly that stung him in the tail, just going very passively. But in this case, I think with Jordan being so walled up here, he shouldn't have too much of a problem at all. And it looks like he will just aim to go Imperial, like I kind of thought that's what he would do earlier. It looks like he's just going to aim to go Imperial, and then he'll either go with massed Huskars, or he will go with Champions. But at the moment, it does seem like Huskars are a much better choice, as of course we can only see crossbows from Paladin and Jeffrey at the moment. So I think that's exactly what he's going to try and do here. Of course, he will need the castle to research the unique technologies, but once he's done them, he can just make barracks to produce the Huskars out of. And we'll have an idea, once he clicks up to Imperial, it's pretty obvious that he's going to go for infantry here. But he should now start to begin upgrading his infantry upgrades. Of course, scale mail, forging, if that is indeed what he's going to do. Huskars are starting to be created, and so yeah, it's going to be Huskars. As I said, a very logical decision, as we have only seen archers from Paladin and Jeffrey so far. And I'm looking forward to this engagement. I think the addition of the Huskars is going to be very important, and of course without Paladin, who is the other Goth player of course, without him knowing what Jordan is actually going to go for or build, he could go with Huskars as well, whereas Champions would be a much better decision for him, I feel. Jordan though, with a nice mangonel shot right there, getting a big meaty hit, and that was a lot of dead crossbows for Paladin. As well as that, Viper just reaching Imperial. Looks like he's aggressively trying to take... Well, actually, no, that doesn't look that aggressive. His TC's here. I was thought it was the front a minute. But yeah, taking a lot of gold. And we'll see what he goes for. Is he going to go for plumes? Is he going to go for elite eagles? We'll see very shortly. Jeffrey also up to imp. And barracks now going down on the front for Jordan. Scale mail armor being researched as well. And of course, that does make a lot of sense. Huskars then starting to head over to Paladin's base, trying to punch a hole in his defenses. A lot of... Well, that was Jeffrey's base even, yeah. A lot of crossbows back here for Jeffrey. Jordan helping out with his mangonel. And these guys, their teamwork, really impeccable teamwork. They do have, obviously, Skype communications. And they do communicate so brilliantly. Of course, now, Jordan showing his hand, showing his cards to Jeffrey. And I'm going to be interested, yes. Jeffrey is going to be making Elite Eagles. So he has got the counter. Elite Eagles, of course, going to perform very well against Huskars. Especially once he gets that 100 health upgrade. So he is going to be in a good position with the Eagles here. Now I'll be interested to see if Jordan decides to switch to Champions, and he has pretty much instantly. He's shown him the Huskars. He's found out that Jeffrey is going to be making Eagles, and to counter that straight away, making those men-at-arms, I believe now, trying to move them out the way so that Jeffrey doesn't see the men-at-arms. If he sees the barracks, he could still assume it's going to be Huskars only. But Jordan creating man-at-arms right here at the back, researching long swordsman, +1 attack, +1 defense done for him. And this could be pretty risky for Jeffrey now. If he goes all out into Eagles and comes head-to-head with massed man-at-arms, then he is going to be in a pretty nasty situation. Viper at the back, Elite Eagle Warrior rush from him, already raiding Paladin's economy very effectively, and Paladin really doesn't have that much to speak of. His score dropping right down as Viper gets in here with a lot of Eagles, killing many villagers very easily indeed, and Viper looks like he's in top shape right now, with a massed army of Eagles right here. Eagles coming in for Jeffrey, and this time Jordan is a little more prepared. He has got long swordsmen out, he's continuing to make them, and researching two-handed swordsmen as we speak. Looks like Viper still in Paladin's base. Paladin making Huskars not the best decision at all in this situation. Two-handed swordsman done for Jeffrey. And of course now, for Jordan. And of course now defending this choke point. Looking like Jeffrey's getting very trapped in there. Might even lose all of these eagles, regardless of the fact that they have 100 health. Trying to run them past, but Jordan, good defenses. And 2 eagles getting through, one with just 9 health left. He's really not going to be able to do much damage with those at all. Whilst the Viper continues to go in with his eagles. And Paladin just finally getting up to the Imperial Age. But another wave of eagles coming in for the Viper now with extra upgrades as well. And I think he's going to have a very nice time raiding Paladin's base. Of course, Jordan getting in there as well. +2/+2 completed. And Paladin trying to make Huskars still, but it's not a great decision here. It's not a great decision. Not against the eagles from the Viper. So this is like pretty mad at the moment. I think, you know, clearly Viper and Jordan have a very good upper hand. And Jordan now looking to get pretty aggressive. Castle on the hill to help defend, of course, and placing barracks forwards to reduce that walking time that his two-handed swordsmen have to make. +4 defense on the Elite Eagles for Jeffrey. And champion upgrade complete for Jordan right now. Going to have a battle right here. Who is going to come out on top? It does seem like Jeffrey is going to gain the upper hand, but he is going to take big losses as well as Jordan continues to pile in the men. Of course, regardless of your upgrade advantage, or even just general advantage, if you haven't got the numbers, if you're outnumbered, you're still going to have a tough time. But overall there, I think Jeffrey taking a few losses, mainly even, though Jeffrey did have the numbers advantage going into that. Viper still raiding over at Paladin's base, though. He is hitting his economy so hard, and Paladin is losing just so much. His economy mostly idle right now, as the Viper pretty much lays waste to his town. I can see about 7 working villagers, and Paladin is going to be very swiftly out of this game if Viper's raiding continues as it is. He's trying to get this castle up, but again, not having much success. It's finally going to go up right now, but the Viper's raids are just too much. It is just too much. Jeffrey coming in at the back of the Viper's base, though. Upgrade-wise, Viper is way ahead. He should be able to clear that up pretty easily. And of course, Jeffrey trying to help out his teammate here, save his ass. While at the same time, Jordan's coming forwards with his champions, setting these buildings on fire, demolishing them so quickly. And Jeffrey, of course, forced to wall up behind this. Jordan probably needs to add some siege in right now and may decide to add some trebuchets very shortly. Of course, he's not researched Anarchy here. He does not need to make Huskars at this moment in time. And oh, Jeffrey, you fool! Leaving a hole in your gate is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. You did not lock that. And Jordan's going to walk straight in, focusing down that gate by the looks of things. And Paladin says GG. Jordan and the Viper gonna take game 5 in a very decisive victory for them. Of course, the Viper playing incredibly there. Paladin just had nothing. Jeffrey slightly better from him, but even so, making those eagles against champions, what you gonna do? There we go. Jordan and the Viper take game 5. Bear in mind, though, there were 2 2v2s going on. Cab and Doubt versus Tim and PBTD. And of course, if D and Tim win their 2v2, then there will be a tiebreaker to decide who gets the 5th point. However, if Cab and Doubt won that game, then it will be a 2 wins for Team TyRanT, and it will go to 4-1.